Hello, and thank you for listening. My name is Luke Mardigian, and you are listening to Be Insured, a show where we discuss a variety of topics related to insurance, business, and leadership so you can stay protected while growing a thriving business. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want my listeners to answer this honestly, okay? Should you fire your insurance agent? I'm being serious. Should you? Well, that's exactly what we're going to help you decide today's discussion, and I'm very excited because I'm joined by some awesome guests, and they are...
Ben Rathbun with Rathbun Agency.
Eric Gestring with the Mardigian Agency.
Eric, our listeners picture an insurance agent. You hear the word insurance agent. What image do you think comes to mind?
I think they immediately are imagining a dapper guy that's kind of sleazy trying to line his pocket with your money.
Slick back hair.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's the perception because we have, I think we can all agree, an abundance of bad insurance agents.
That's right. Ben, do you feel like there's a stigma that surrounds insurance agents?
Absolutely. And, people kind of associate us with like a used car salesman. And, there's a lot of great used car salesmen, but there's a lot of bad ones, and there's a lot of bad insurance agents. So...
Yeah, I hear the like the furniture store thing when you walk in and there's like 10 guys hounding you a second. I just want a couch, I just want to I want to sit on some couches. I'm not here to be pressured into buying anything, right? And if we're being honest, these images are not wrong. There are agents out there whose only goal is to collect a paycheck, to line their pocketbooks. They're not being completely forthright. They don't care about coverage, and it's really unfortunate. And there really are two ways a business can function: transactional or relational. Transactional meaning the only motive you have is to collect money. Relational means that you build a real relationship with your customers by helping them solve a problem they have, and then you happen to get paid for it at the end. But the number one goal is building that relationship, solving that problem, and then hopefully the money takes care of itself. When I first opened the Mardigian Agency, I had this gut feeling that I needed to focus on building relationships because the resounding message from insurance companies is save money, save time.
Yep.
And, Ben, you and I met working at another insurance company prior to us entering into agencies. And, we can tell you that insurance is important. It's more important than saving 15% in 15 minutes.
Well, and I think we forget it's a contract a lot of times. And so at the end of the day, it's a legal contract, and I can save you a little bit of money, but if I'm going to take coverage away, it's really not worth it in the end when it comes to a claim.
Yeah, you're getting what you paid for, right?
Absolutely.
And how many times do you hear people, they send all their contracts to their attorneys, but they walk in and they just sign a dotted line and they have no clue what they're signing up for with their insurance contracts.
Or they jump online
and just pick the good. They got the good, better, best, and I'm going to pick the good because that's exactly how much I wanted to pay for insurance.
Because you guys are all licensed agents with the state and know how to cover yourself, protected and yourself and your assets accordingly. It's not like.
And I think we can all attest people want to go online, but when you actually make that purchase, you want to sit down and talk to a licensed professional. You can sit face to face and have a conversation.
Yeah, to make sure that you made those right clicks.
Yeah, and when the rubber hits the road and you have a claim or something goes really wrong with your bill or something just outside the normal experience, I don't want to call a 1-800 number and wait on hold for an hour. I want to call and talk to Susie at the front desk or Jim, my agent, or whoever.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, though, is that people literally don't want to deal with the insurance or sit down until something actually happens.
Yeah.
And then by that point, it's out of our hands to help people. They come to us after it's too late, and it even comes into life insurance. We talk about this all the time. My dad just got diagnosed with cancer.
Can you get him life insurance?
Life insurance. At this point, you're going to be paying an insane amount of money if we can even get him approved.
Not financially feasible.
Yep.
So when it comes to being relational, Ben, would you say that that's kind of your mentality and your team's mentality at the Rathbun Agency?
Absolutely. We need to have that conversation about coverage, and I think it's really important to make people think post-claim, because after the claim, people don't really care how much they paid for coverage. So if you can make people feel like what it's to feel like after a claim, that's really beneficial to make them realize what coverages they need.
Yeah, that's a great point. I have never once in my entire 8 or 9 years in insurance heard a client say at time of claim,
I can't believe I bought that coverage.
Yeah. Wow, man. what a great coverage that was. And I saved some money. Wow. Nobody thinks about that. They think, am I covered? How much is the check going to be? Am I going to be taken care of? Is my family going to get taken care of? What if, you get served that lawsuit because you hurt somebody in a car accident? Am I going to lose everything? The house is burning and they go, you better have got this right. Not, how much money did you save me again? It becomes irrelevant pretty quickly. So Eric, how do clients lose when they work with a transactional agent?
Well, you lose in a lot of aspects, understanding what you're getting as far as your coverage breakdown and understanding the physical damage, the PIP, especially with this reform. The PIP is going to be a whole new monster. If they don't understand it effectively, that's a big concern, and they will lose if they're not properly covered. They'll lose assets. They'll lose a lot of things. The biggest thing is you're losing the relationship, and you don't have an advocate on your side. With us, I'm going to advocate for you through the claims process and everything, and make sure that we get you exactly what you deserve to get you back to where you were before.
Yep. I think that many clients who work with transactional agents don't realize just how comforting it is to know your insurance agent, to follow, be Facebook friends with him, see the type of stuff they're doing in the community.
See he's a real person.
Ben just had an article published in the local newspaper to see that your agent is considered a trusted person in the community sharing information, gives you a sense of reassurance that you just can't get when you're just buying from somebody because they want to make a sale.
A lot of the feedback I get from clients is, I really want this, what we have, the being able to text you and have you text me back. It's so easy. I trust you. You're somebody from our community. Those are things that make the difference.
Yeah, well, I think it was Steve Jobs that said people don't know what they want until I give it to them. No one knew that they wanted an iPhone, and now everybody has a smartphone in their pocket that's more powerful than computers were 10 years ago. He knew what they wanted. Well, our listeners today, you're going to want a relationship. So, Ben or Eric, what are some reasons someone should fire their insurance agent?
Well, I think kind of going back to this whole transactional thing, it's important to know that we're kind of an educator, and to take that stigma away from being a salesperson. If I can really educate you about what coverage you need, it's important. And if you don't have an agent who's properly educating you, because you're not a licensed professional, you don't necessarily know what you need all the time. And so that's our job, to let you know what exposures you have and how we can cover that.
It's less about education and more about selling for the transactional agent.
Yes, absolutely. It'll just be sign here.
If you feel like your insurance agent is selling something to you, then they're probably not doing it right.
If they're not explaining what you're actually purchasing.
Yes, that's exactly it.
People spend a lot of money on insurance, and after your car and your house, you're buying insurance to protect those things, but what else are you spending thousands of dollars a year on? And so if you're buying something and spending thousands of dollars on it, you have no idea what it's covering, that's a problem.
100%. And that means you should probably fire your insurance agent.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I find often is it's not even an education thing. Sometimes I'll send them back. Eric and I had a client who has a horse farm. And so we had it insured under our country estate product. There's a few companies that have similar products. It's kind of like it's like a mix between a farm and a homeowner's policy for our listeners. And they wanted to go to another carrier, a carrier that's pretty well known for being transactional, and they were going to save them about $100 a year. And so I said, hey, did you tell them about the horses and the fact that you run like a business out of your pole barn? And
but they didn't ask, Luke.
They didn't ask. They called and asked, and the answer they got was, oh yeah, we have no problem with that. So they called me, and I said, no, you need to call them back, and you need to tell them these things. You own multiple horses. You have barns that are used solely for the furthering of your business, and you have a $80,000 tractor that's used solely for the furthering of your business.
Yep.
Called back, oh yeah, no, we don't cover that. Right. But for the first
you could have
saved
$100 though.
Yeah, for $100, she got the wrong answer twice. So it's many times they're even trying to educate and they're just wrong. I mean, because they don't care. They're not, in their minds, they're going to get paid. And if you leave in a year, they don't care.
Plus they have big corporate lawyers that they think are going to handle it for them, and they don't care if they write it wrong. So
yeah, they have insurance for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the same, that's kind of one of those instances where the agent just gave them what they wanted. they gave them an answer. They didn't really educate them on that. And like we talked about, Ben, like what kind of follow-up do you typically see from transactional agents? Or, you sit down with a client, they're thinking about moving over, they want you to quote their stuff, and their agent is transactional. What kind of follow-up do they have?
I mean, I think just a simple callback is so important. And in this business, there's so many people who they say, my agent won't even call me back. Well, that's a problem in the first place. But if you're only having conversations with your agent about your billing and you're not having conversations about actual coverage and your actual exposures, then that's a problem that you need to address. And so making sure you have an agent who's actually talking to you about the coverage that you're buying.
Yep, I agree with that. So what qualities should our listeners look for in an insurance agent? I think personally, it needs to be somebody who's a human being, not a computer. I just had one the other day that it was an online insurance company, and at the email that they got welcoming them had somebody's name and put it as licensed agent. So clearly these companies are starting to understand that people do want an agent, but they're not actually giving them an agent. They're 100%. Giving them an email with a signature at the bottom of it. And, we've looked at these things. Really, we talked about text messages and, a callback. What are some other ways that clients have direct access to a relational agent?
So I guess with us, you can always go on our website. You can submit changes. You can reach us through social media, but always just calling us, stopping in, actually having a conversation with us face to face. I think I probably half my clients I've never met, and I don't know if that's the case with you guys too, but it's important that, you don't necessarily have to sit down with someone to have a relationship with them.
Coming into office is a good point. For us at the Mardigian Agency, we try to do annual reviews as well so that we are getting in front of them, because like you said, Ben, we do have a lot of mortgage referrals come in that we don't even get the chance to sit down with them. Right. That following year is our opportunity to get in there, develop that relationship, make sure the coverages are still appropriate, because every day and every year, things are changing. The income changes, everything. A baby came in. That's another opportunity for life.
I just saw an ad for a company on Facebook who was bragging about the fact that you could get rates online and you never have to talk to someone. And I thought, what an interesting thing to brag about, that you never have to actually talk to your agent.
Yeah. And that's, when you read that, everybody thinks millennials, which all of us are either millennial or everyone at this table is pretty close to millennial. I think we're Zennials. We're like a mix between Gen X and millennials.
We're right on the line.
Everybody kind of rags on millennials because they were so tech savvy, quote unquote. But when they poll millennials, all they ever say is they want to research online, they want to gather the information, and then they really want to sit in front of someone and talk to them. But either people are too busy because they're in the middle of buying a house, or it's just a bad time, or they just don't view it as important because they were never taught that it was important. And so they never actually sit down.
They still want the relationship. They just might want it delivered in a different way.
Yes. Yeah. Via text message, email, whatever that is. I have a lot of, I found the busier the business professional, whether a business owner, attorney, CPA, the busier they are, the more often they want to just do things via email, because they can shoot a quick email while they're about to go into a meeting, and then they don't need to address it again until maybe the end of the day when they check their email again. And so that's still a relationship. It just looks a little bit different.
And we have to be good at that and get better at it. If you're not good at certain avenues, you have to be able to meet all of those standards as an agent. People I don't think, understand or realize how much effort we put into what we do and how much we care about the people we protect. And that is the biggest difference right there. Because I know in the Mardigian Agency and the sales team, when they come and approach me with anything, I always go, just do the right thing.
Right.
There's no shortcuts. Just do the right thing.
Yep. Even if it costs us.
Yeah. If they leave because they want to save $100 online, let them leave. Don't cut corners.
And we're talking now about firing our agent, but I don't know about you guys. I'm sure there's times you fired a client too because you educate them.
You're so right, Ben. Yeah.
And they're not willing to really properly insure themselves, and they want you to cut corners, or they want to buy, I want state minimum liability limits. Well,
maybe it better fits progressive.com.
Right. Well, you might think you want that, but you're not going to buy it from me. Yeah. And I bet they're not going to buy it from you either.
Nope, they aren't. And so for the person listening who's thinking, man, I'm listening to this and I really need to break up with my insurance agent, I'll give you a tip. The most painless way to break up is just go to your whatever agent you trust. whether it's an independent agent like the Rathbun Agency or a captive like the Mardigian Agency, and ask them to sign a form that they can send over for the cancellation. It makes the breakup really easy and clean. The other agents are professional. I promise they will handle it professionally. And so how can people connect with you, Ben?
You can find us online at rathbunagency.com or on Facebook, Rathbun Insurance on Facebook, or and then check out the blog on our website. We are keeping people updated on no-fault reform right now, so a lot of big changes coming there. So make sure your agent is educating you on all those changes coming up.
Absolutely. And if you want to sit down and get a free insurance review, Ben or me or Eric are available, and you can send us a message either at the Rathbun Agency or the Mardigian Agency to schedule it. Thanks, and we'll see you next time on Be Insured.